Are we really starting with erotic thriller? I don't know much about that sort of thing. I mean,
We alluded to it, but we can always say, yeah, we're not going to do that one. We're going to do something else.
I have another idea, but I'm really scared of the federal government. And like, if I start telling the world about the things that go on in my mind, like, they could 5150 me.
Minority Report.
We're not far off, 1984. Are you ready with the robot?
We're ready.
Okay, do you want to do an intro?
All right, shall we go?
Yeah, let's do this.
Ready? All right, hey, welcome to the show that we pitch stuff and make ideas happen. So today we're going to come up with a movie idea in this short amount of time.
Boom, baby.
So we need to start with an idea. Do we have some sort of seed? Because the idea is you have a seed and you work from the seed to create an idea.
Well, yesterday when we were prepping for today, it was mentioned that erotic thrillers were a big popularity thing for a short period of time.
Yeah, it was on a podcast, the Show Don't Tell podcast with Noam Kroll. Here we are promoting
Why
stuff.
are we promoting Noam? What has he done for us? Noam, have you subscribed to our channel yet?
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Come welcome. Come
Okay,
time.
so anyway, that, of course, my mind was thinking about this this idea and how do you make it novel. So yesterday when we were talking too, I'm like, well, what is an erotic thriller? Like, there's, used to go to like Cinemax or HBO or Showtime to kind of get a late night, kind of spicy thing to watch. I just don't feel like that's there anymore.
Yeah, you might. People go elsewhere for those things now.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
But I'm thinking there was a movie.
Can't go wrong with a good story.
There's a movie in the 70s that I need to watch again. I think it's on Tubi, but it's...
You've all seen those.
Yeah. It was called Blow Up.
Okay.
And I think that was like a erotic thriller. It was like this really ridiculous like fashion photographer guy that was like way into his stuff. And then he accidentally photographs a murder from what I believe. And he finds it in blowing up the image and then people are trying to get it. So I need to go watch that one again.
What's the cutoff for open source?
Dude,
Peter Pan, or you know what I mean?
You have to, which is funny enough, the Noam Kroll podcast, they were talking about public domain.
Public domain,
characters.
thank you, not open source.
So, yeah, you'd have to look through Library of Congress to find out what's in public domain.
100 years, 200 years? What's the threshold though? There's something.
There's there's a bunch of legal things you can reduce things. Anyway,
so my idea. The seed, I guess the seed was erotic thriller. And what came from that was, how do we put a twist on it? And my idea, instead of doing like creepy photographer where this dude is like, taking pictures of girls and, something happens, we flip it around.
Why not?
It's a female photographer.
Okay.
She starts, and she's photographing men that are like muscular and sweaty,
Okay.
And
does it turn into like a murder story or is it like a science fiction style?
No. It's like I want to keep it grounded in the real world.
Grounded in real world. Is it like psychotic mental thriller?
So it came to me first as a male photographer and a female, and maybe that the photographer makes a move on the model, and I'm trying to gender out of it because it doesn't, right? But then the model, maybe she's defending herself and she accidentally, kills the photographer or something, and then she passes out, but then she wakes up and there's someone else there. Maybe it's another model and they're like, oh my gosh, I saved you. I came in. Yeah. This happened to me too. And then they're on the run, but maybe the photographer didn't die. I guess there's
let's see. So a photographer is obsessed with their model, and an accident occurs and they are unaware of. Could that be a start? Or because you want...
I mean, what... Because it's erotic and thrilling, there has to be some romance in there.
Okay.
It can't just be like...
Photographer... there it is. Photographer becomes infatuated with their model, but when things ensue, the worst happens, and now the photographer is on the run or looking for their next victim.
Let's go with this. Are you familiar with Catch and Kill?
Sort of.
Ronan Farrow book?
Oh no, I haven't read it.
It's about, let's say, your Harvey Weinstein. We shouldn't be saying. Beep, cut. The whole concept between a catch and kill is a story is about to be released to the press.
Okay.
And those in power catch the story before it's released, to kill the story. So what if the story's an entrapment where you have this group of models, male, female, etc., it doesn't matter, and they're working with someone and they want revenge. They can't like they have no voice. The things they claim can't be proven, and they want revenge essentially. So they set up an entrapment of some kind to catch a producer or a photographer, whoever it may be. The antagonist.
Okay. To entrapment scheme. Let's just
entrapment
do that.
scheme.
All right. I'm gonna take this and do my typical, and we're gonna run this through some AI, this idea.
There's no way in hell this robot can have any kind of twist that's better than what I just brain barfed.
Oh, no, I know. But here's what we're gonna do. This is how we speed things up. We're gonna go, give me 5 variations of this storyline.
Is it gonna give you like a log line, or what do you, what'd you feed it?
I'm giving us, give me 5 variations of the storyline in written as a log line for pitching a movie. All right. And I said, a model society is taking revenge on a photographer, so they set up an entrapment scheme.
Ooh, hey, that's actually what I said.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
All right.
Let's see what it does. So we're running it through and says, all right, here I'm going to read through some of these and see if there's any elements that we feel we can pull from, or if we've already got the best idea. Sometimes with AI, if they give you an idea, you sometimes can go, yeah, cool idea. I know not to use that because everyone else would get the same thing. So it's sometimes a good filter. So here we go. When a photographer's scandalous expose threatens their perfect facade, a seemingly utopian model society orchestrates an elaborate entrapment to silence forever. That's super confusing. A lot of big words. Should I go to the next one?
Yeah, I didn't
connect with that one. Haunted by the secrets he's captured, a fashion photographer finds himself the target of a vengeful model collective who lure him into a deadly trap disguised as high-profile photo shoot.
I like that much better. And here's one thing, too, that's tough for me. I'm a photographer. So if the photographer's innocent, maybe there's a different form of conflict, but maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, here's the other one. In a world where beauty is power, a rebellious photographer uncovers the dark side of a model society, triggering a calculated revenge plot that blurs the line between art and reality.
I like that one too.
Okay.
But you know what? There's a little ambiguous as to what some of those things are.
There's number 4. After exposing the hidden flaws of a flawless society, a paparazzo becomes the subject of their next perfect production, a stage scandal designed to ruin his life.
I don't want the character of the models to be like helpless.
Yeah.
I want them to be empowered. Like
Okay.
they're using their brains and their smarts and their beauty to maybe socially hack something in some way.
Well, let's see. This last one is a photographer obsessed with capturing the perfect image gets more than he bargains for when the subject of his latest photo shoot, a seemingly ideal community of models, turned the lens on him, framing him for a crime he didn't commit.
I like that. So the thought I just had was, what if he's photographing, or she, the photographer's taking all these pictures of models, they're working with a model agency, and the photographer starts to notice that they all have like a similar tattoo of some kind. And he's like, oh, what is this? What's this tattoo all about? So they fall down this rabbit hole in regards to the tattoo, and they find out that these models, male or female, are maybe slaves, or there's some kind of, bigger picture of control, so that the antagonist is, a corporate entity, something like YouTube, or I don't know.
Yeah. No, but wouldn't that go away with the models being not empowered?
No, you're right.
Because then they're enslaved. But what if the society was the models? Oh, that would not be grounded in reality. But the models are a group of society trying to take over photographers. Photographers, they claim, can shape society and the news. And then you find out the model society technically revealed is they're a bunch of aliens trying to take over the world. That totally goes the wrong direction, but I had to say it.
Kind of like it.
Well, why not? If you could always go that way, and that's the reveal at the end.
It's
Maybe they're not aliens, but maybe they're trying to control a narrative.
for me, it's step far back. Man versus nature, man versus machine, whatever it may be. It's artist versus corporate, or artist versus
Yeah,
I don't know, corporate kind of, yeah.
Yeah, artist versus the corporate. I think that kind of explains it. Like, everyone's trying to be the independent artist, but then corporate society is trying to dictate.
All that is just way too big for what this film should be.
Yeah, let's keep it small.
People want a good little bit of mystery, comedy, love, bit with a dog.
Maybe it's as simple as the photographer took a picture of somebody and the model is in a relationship and thinks that there was an affair and is trying to attack. It could be that,
What
or...
if we did along those lines?
Okay.
Photog takes picture. Something happens in model's life where they're like, look, I need these files back. Like, this can't get out.
Okay.
And the photographer's like, I'm sorry, my hands are tied. I don't own the rights to this. I'm under contract. I have to answer to X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
And they have to find a way to get the frame.
Oh, what if, based on that,
You could call it Find the Frame.
Find the frame. There it is. What if a photographer is on assignment, photographs a model, and then the model reveals the model is hiding? And
FBI's
they want the but he doesn't own the rights because it was an assignment.
Yeah.
And the model wants the pictures pulled because it will reveal her identity and expose her to whoever's chasing her
They can
down.
fall in love.
Or
you get their
him,
romance. A little bit of sweat in there for the erotic part. And
Okay.
then mystery, intrigue. We have some guys with sunglasses, silly hats running around with guns trying to stop them.
To what is it? To give up or return or take down photos because it reveals models.
What do they call that? The feds. What do they do? It's the
witness
protection program.
Identity, who is in witness protection or something like that. Okay, that's something you can work on.
I think that's something that's grounded, something we can work on, something that's shootable. We can shoot it here. We can shoot it out there.
All right, so we got that. Now, logline, we go into some story beats.
Hate these. Oh, that was our log line?
We can say that's our logline. At least we can always work on it later if we want to.
I am not a salesman whatsoever.
Well, there it is. Go. Let's do this real quick before we move on. We'll go back and ask AI to refine it for us. Can you refine and make this more clear? And then I type that in. A photographer on assignment is asked to take down photos because it reveals the model's identity, who is in witness protection. All right, and then you come down and...
Why would someone in witness protection be a model?
Then maybe it'll... let's make the model not in witness protection.
Wait. What if the model isn't like, oh, I'm an aspiring model, I'm taking all these gigs, I'm doing these things? What if they kind of happenstance fall into it, and in the moment the person can't say anything because there's a bunch of people around, and they're like, okay, well, yeah, the pictures get taken, and then after the fact they go to this person and be like, look, we can't do this, and she can't explain why, or...
All right, I think I just changed it. Let's make the model not witness protection, but just in danger if photos are released. All right.
Then.
So here we go.
All right.
Photographer's seemingly innocent photo shoot turns perilous when he discovers his model is fleeing a dangerous past and his photos could expose her location. When a photographer's images threaten to unveil a model's carefully concealed identity, she must rely on him to protect her from those. That makes no sense because why is she a model? An assignment becomes life or death situation when a photographer's work inadvertently puts a model in the crosshairs of a powerful... That could be more easily done. Like, it could be because of who the assignment was. Could change how it's like, oh, this is who this is for? Something like that. Or capturing the perfect shot could cost her everything. A photographer must decide if exposing his latest work is worth putting his model in grave danger. And last, a photographer on location takes photos of a model that reveals sensitive information that could put her life in danger, and now he is caught in the middle of a danger.
Not gonna lie, my brain kind of phased out
Well, at least we got those. I say let's go to story beat.
Here's how I see it. First act.
All right, let me get in here.
I like the idea of the model that's not why they're there.
Yeah.
Maybe she does makeup. Maybe she gets coffee or is a production assistant.
Oh, okay.
Everything's set up. They're there. The actual model calls in and says, "Oh, I can't make it. There's been a big wreck on the I-80," and the photographer's like, "Oh my gosh, we gotta. What are we gonna do? Who are we gonna shoot?" And so, production assistant gets dragged in, because she's attractive or whatever, or he's attractive.
Yeah.
And so everything goes along, and then at the end of it, it's like, I can't do this. I have a stalker. My mom can't find out. Whatever it may, there's some kind of conflict. And so is that the end of our first act? What's going to progress the story into?
Well, typically, if we got that, you've got the conflict of can't do it. Model's not available. Happenstance. Let's see, we got it. PA is the replacement, but why would they not want to do it? Well, let's get to that later. We got 3 points, and then our act 2. What would be this can be just general things, because ideally I like to have 25 story beats, because with 25 story beats, I think I can get to 90 pages.
Let's just work on 3 story beats: Act 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
So if Act 2, maybe she's trying to, or maybe they are, this is where the erotic part comes into it. Maybe this model is like, okay, the only way I'm going to get these frames back is I got to get that memory card. So then it becomes kind of like a spy type of thing where she's like, okay, well, they need this memory card back. So they're like, the only way I can do that is I have to flirt with this photographer. I have to have this person think that try and build a relationship so that I can pickpocket them and get these frames.
Okay.
So that creates romance, creates tension, a little bit of conflict of like having to flirt or present yourself to someone who you may not necessarily have a connection with. And then in the end, they do end up falling in love, and it's magic and it's wonderful, but she's still torn because she has this memory card, and then the person finds out, oh my gosh, what do you mean? Why didn't you tell me? Oh, because your boss wanted you to take a photo and I couldn't. That's where I'm.
This is where you get your big twist, is the PA is in there and doing this whole bit, but what if the PA orchestrated the whole thing to be the model in order to do this, in order to get in and work themselves in to get to the top dog and take, maybe it's like a reverse plot. So the erotic thriller it's an erotic spy film.
Okay, so.
Or espionage or something.
Let's keep the photog as a relatively normal person. They're not the antagonist, but maybe the person the photographer works for is an antagonist. So let's kind of whip up a quick backstory. Maybe the model's mom was employed by this executive who was evil and did a bunch of bad stuff, and she just wants to kill him.
Okay.
Right? So she comes up with this elaborate scheme. Maybe she's the one behind the main model not making it to set that day, and she already had her extensions in and her hair did and yada, yada, yada. So of course, obviously, she gets to the gig. The photos turn out great. But how do we get point to where, if her goal is to kill the executive?
That would be something, we'd have to raise the stakes a bit. So if the goal is to kill the executive, why would she do that? Maybe it's like
just revenge. But what's keeping her from doing that? She falls in love with the photographer.
Okay, and that's
and the photographer's keeping her like, oh my gosh, I'm actually in love. I'm in a relationship. I can't go to jail. Or before she was like, F it, like I'm doing whatever it takes to get my vengeance.
It's the log line structure I heard once. Movie X is a story about someone who wishes that something never happens.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's this one. Erotic thriller is a story about a model wants to take revenge on the owner of an agency, falls in love with the person she's trying to destroy, or something like that.
Yeah. What if?
Okay.
I don't like the model falling in love with the person she's trying to destroy.
I'm just trying to.
But what if
falls in love with the only person that would give her access.
Which would be like the photographer. But what if the photographer has a similar backstory where they're like, oh my gosh, like something bad happened to me also because of this executive person. And so like they're both kind of like trying to work the system to get closer to this. Maybe that's the second act where they're like, they come up with a plan to be like, let's get this guy. And then it can turn into, my favorite kind of movie, a hacking movie where they're like, let's turn the light red. And so he gets hit by a train. I don't know.
The two fall in love. They share a similar background, wanting to take over or take down the agency boss. And it's just me. I can do it on my own. Oh, wait, he's back.
What's our TRT right now? How are we doing?
We're going a little long for this one. I think what we could do is like, I think we kind of found out like the pivotal scene. Like, I don't want to act out any like romance.
No, thank you. Can we just maybe a little bit of improv?
You want to? No. That's scary.
Okay, but hey, we had a seed. We got to a general 3-act structure. I like the idea of the model and the photographer. They're both trying to do these things. They're working against each other because they don't realize they're on the same team. And then at the end of the second act, they realize they're on the same team. They join up together and they accomplish a goal. What's the big conflict that keeps them from trying to accomplish that goal? I'm not sure at this point.
Well, let's see. What would be the conflict? I feel like they need to be in danger for some reason, like beyond just like wanting to do it. Maybe.
I like that. They're in danger. So how do they get caught? Because then we can kind of turn it into that erotic thriller, noirish kind of feel, like they're running through dark alleys. They're sweaty, right?
What if there's another, you'd have one more person on the photo shoot and the pictures are taken, and as the pictures are taken, they're like, great, they offload them, and that person takes them and goes, I'm gonna go deliver them, and walks out the door with the photo. And that's it. They don't have them. Now they have to figure out how to get the photos from the person that left. But then that does expand the story outside of photo studio.
Well, yeah.
Which is fine, but yeah. But you do that, and then there's the conflict of they don't have the photos, but they're working for the person using the photo. And then they have this like chase to try and get them or to take them down.
There's something there. I like the idea. Like, we can't do everything in studio, but I feel like 30% of it, we could, have a good chunk of it here, good chunk of it outside, good chunk in corporate America, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's shoot. Can the robot write us a script?
Well, it can give us an outline. It'll be really bad if the robot writes us a script. Sorry, robot, but you're just not that creative. Good for brainstorming. And then there's WGA rules and all of that.
Yeah.
So I use the robot to give me ideas and help spur ideas, and then I just write it out, adjustments based on that. But thing that they put out, let's just like pitch this real quick, and then maybe that's our episode.
I think we got it. Like, I'm done with this story. Let's move on to the next one.
So it goes, a photographer's routine. All right, this is an erotic thriller about a photographer, and it's the photographer's routine shoot. A routine shoot took a sharp turn when the scheduled model is a no-show, and the agency owner forces the reluctant production assistant to step in. This unexpected substitution ignites a conflict as the PA, with a hidden past, fiercely resists being in front of the camera. Meanwhile, the original model, sensing an opportunity, uses her charm. Whoa, where'd the original?
No, this is all.
No,
off.
all right. So here, I'm just gonna pitch it, not use the robot.
Use the robot, yeah.
All right, so this is an erotic thriller about a photographer who's set to do a photo shoot, and the model doesn't show. So the photographer pushes his reluctant production assistant to fill in because of their charming good looks, and it takes the photos, and then before the production assistant fully comprehends to protest, the photos are shot out the door, and the production assistant / model reveals that they're in danger if their image is released. The model tries to build a relationship with the photographer in order to get the photos back, and then they discover that they're in love, and they also discover they have a similar past, and they're both after the agency owner, and they make a concerted effort to try and do an espionage run and get the photos back to save the model's life and the photographer to take down this agency owner. There's a lot of work.
There's some problems in there.
Lots of problems.
However, I feel like there's some bones to it. We just gotta get some muscle and a few organs.
So, but there, if you like the idea of having a photographer, like our idea of a photographer putting a reluctant model in front of the camera to discover that puts their life in danger and they have to fight to get the photos back. So, do you have another thought?
Yeah, what if the photog, like, you know, they have the stage, the studio all set up for X, Y, and Z. But because model isn't showing up, the photographer just kind of takes some liberty to take some BTS kind of shots. And that production assistant ends up becoming the model, like very flattering picture, like, oh, look, we did it. Look what we were able to pull off. But they weren't aware the picture was being taken. And maybe like they had a headset on or something. They did some photoshopping to kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I like, what's tough with that idea of that memory, like going after the memory card. I mean, it's a digital age, like everything, like it'd be instant.
AI. Yeah, and now there's a lot of things now, even with production and direct to cloud.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're working with an agency, you take your photo and it directly uploads
directly
and
there,
you're like,
yeah.
done. So that it might needs a little bit more work, but hey,
Good bones.
it's good bones. So if you want to see more,
Tune
check
in
this
next
playlist
time.
here and we'll develop some more ideas.
They should have some kind of catchphrase like,
Bingo. And that's the pitch.
no, not that one.